All right, we're ready to begin with Tennessee. Coach Barnes, Kenny Chandler, and Urash Plavsic. We'll ask Coach for some opening comments, then we'll take your questions just for the two student athletes and excuse them, and then we'll finish up with Coach Barnes. Coach?
Well, I think it was exactly what both teams thought it would be, just a hard-fought game from start to finish. And, both teams played so hard defensively, and baskets were really hard to come by, and the ebbs and flows of the game. And, it felt like you were fighting every possession just to get something done on both ends of the court. But, Kentucky's an outstanding basketball team. And I've said before, I think they're as good as any team in the country. And I think the team we're playing tomorrow is as hot as any team in the country, and so again, this time of year, that's what you expect, and I think that's what fans are expecting, and that's what they got today, and I think that's what they expect tomorrow.
All right, questions for either of the student athletes? Raise your hand. Let's start right on the front row.
Kennedy, with about 8 minutes left, Kentucky cut it to single digits at 8 points. You come out after the timeout and scored two big buckets back to back. What's going through your mind right there? And as a freshman, how'd you feel in that moment?
Me knowing that during that timeout, Coach had said they got their run, so we knew coming out of that timeout, we got to step our game up, get some stops on the defensive end, and that's what we did. I got my two back-to-back buckets, and they got us going. Got our energy back up, and led to us, getting a win and getting some more stops after that. So that media timeout was very important to us after them getting that run.
Okay, question on the front right here in the middle.
Kenny, how healthy is your ankle? And, how much did you have to do the last few hours to be ready to play tonight?
It was hurting bad yesterday, but, my mindset was to get as much treatment as I can, to come back, and play today. But I know I wasn't going to force myself to play if I wasn't available to play today. So, I got as much treatment as I could and, come back with my team and play this game and get the win.
Next question on the far left front.
Kennedy, Kentucky really struggled shooting threes. What was the plan defensively, and what do you attribute that to, that there's poor shooting?
Knowing who the shooters are and knowing who to help off of and know who the knockdown shooters are. And again, great closeouts is one thing Coach Swartz talked to us about, getting high closeouts and contesting the shots, and that's what we did.
Question on the back on the right.
One for the big guy. When you come into this game, it looked like it was going to be played at 10.5 and 11 feet. How important was it for you guys to control the glass?
You just know you're going against really good rebounding team. We lost rebounding battle in Knoxville, so we knew that we had to come back and just be aggressive on both ends of the floor. And you're going against the best rebounder in the country, obviously, and you just got to make sure that you box him out every single time. He going after every ball, and I think we did a really good job in the first half. Second half, they made some changes with that, and they were more aggressive on offensive glass, and we gave up some offensive rebounds that we didn't have. But I think it was pretty good effort all around the team.
He was a hand up right here. Okay, go ahead.
Urash, you guys have been on a pretty incredible run since that Kentucky game at Rupp. What has it been like being on this team the past 2 months, and how have you guys gotten everything rolling to this place?
I talked about it earlier. This team has great chemistry, and that is something that these guys love about this team. We are together a lot off the court, and I love every single one of these guys like they're my brothers. There's nothing that can get in between us and stuff like that. And I think that the fact that we are really close, that makes us compete against each other really hard in every single practice, and I think that shows in the games. So we have great leadership on the team, and I think that is really important at this time of the year, having your leaders going through these games, leading younger guys. So I think that's what it is.
Question on the front.
Thank you. For both of you guys, how much more does it mean when you play Kentucky? It just seems like there's a lot of emotion attached to that game. And also, how important is it to win this program's first SEC tournament title since 1979?
Kennedy, would you take that first?
Coach is always, before every single game, have a championship mindset, and that's what he's been saying ever since. On every single game, honestly, you got to have that championship mindset. And, our goal is to play Monday night, the NCAA tournament championship game, and that's our mindset. And, we just treat Kentucky as a regular team, and know that they're going to come and, give us their all and to treat every single game as a championship game. That's what Coach always tells us.
That was you, Rush.
I think this is my first time in a game like this, and honestly, our preparation for every single opponent is different. That means that it is different for Kentucky as well. So, it is a rivalry game, and we like playing Kentucky, so it's always maybe a little more emotions going through your body and stuff like that than other games. But, we respect every single team in this league, and it's going to stay that way. So, no matter who we play, we're going to give them our best.
All right, let's take one. Go ahead and take this one right here, and then we'll come to you in the middle. Finish it up.
Euros, I see a big gash on your arm. Is that kind of emblematic of just how tough a rivalry this is, that it's one you'll bleed for?
This is from last night's game, honestly. So,
Never mind.
yeah.
All right, last question. Go ahead.
Kennedy, it seemed like anytime Kentucky made a run coming out of a timeout, Coach Barnes put the ball in your hands. Just what did that kind of confidence mean to you?
Coach Barnes has a great trust in me. I'm going to deliver the ball to my teammates or, find a great shot to get the ball. But, our mindset, get into our offense, and find a great shot to get. Always get the ball above the rim. And we don't want to have a shot clock violation or turnover. So my mindset was, get a great shot, find somebody open. And, that was our goal coming out of timeout and just putting the ball in my hands.
All right, we'll excuse the student athletes. You can return to the locker room. Thank you. And we'll go to questions for Coach Barnes. Let's go ahead and start in the back on the right.
Rick, that first game in Lexington when Kentucky shot 67%, but the next two meetings you've held them to 34% shooting both times. Did you do anything differently, or was it just that game in Lexington was just a total aberration?
No, did we do anything differently? Yeah, I thought it was a major learning game for Kennedy Chandler because he was as bad in that game as he's been in the other games. And he was, at that point in time in the season, he was still just trying to reach. And, I know people, when they talk about defensive players, they look at steals and things like that. But we were having some good possessions. And then, early in the game, he was responsible for the first 6 points in Lexington. And I think that was a major game for him to understand that when you play against the quality of players at this level, that you've got to be solid throughout the possession. And then, so that was that. And then they got going, and it was a game where, you turn them loose, they could do that, and they got loose. And but even with that said, I think with a couple, and what we showed our guys, with I think 2 minutes or so in that game, we were still only down 4 at halftime. But then they turned us over and took it up to 10, 12 real quick, and we never recovered. But they're, Kentucky's had a great year. I mean, they're. I've said it, and I just think our league deserves so much more credit than it's getting overall. But I mean, we've got teams in this league that now I'm hoping that once we get into the big tournament that we can, as a league, show well. But it's been a hard-fought regular season for all of us.
We have a couple hands right here on the front. Go ahead.
Coach, you touched on the defense a little bit, but just how proud are you of that end of the court, and especially when you're playing so many freshmen?
Well, we are, and again, we are proud of the fact that they have bought into that, and that's what I think. Again, I think most teams in our league most of the teams certainly want to hang their hat on their defense, but I was concerned myself in the first half with Sheedway being on the bench, because I knew they were going to come out and they were going to force feed that ball to him, and which they did a good job. And we were fighting as hard as we could with as many guys down there, and Urosh did as much as he could do. And early here today, I thought we dodged a couple bullets because they did have a couple looks early from the three that, and then we were able to tighten up a little bit. Then at the end of the game, we came off a couple shooters that we shouldn't have there late, but. defensively, that's been our most consistent thing that we've done all year. And tonight, when they were making a run, you know, I really basically said it's not a play calling game. This is a player's game. You guys are going. You've got gone this far now. You're going to have to keep playing. And the movement we were able to get loose there with a few back cut layups, and then got the floor spread enough. And Kennedy got downhill one time, and so again, the players and our coaching staff, they again did a great job getting ready for this.
Okay, let's go right here in the second one on the front row.
You mentioned Texas A&M earlier. I'm just wondering if there's a specific instance in your head of when you've had to play a team as hot as they are, and what's it like playing a team that's essentially playing for its season tomorrow?
Last year, Oregon State in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, they were as hot as any team coming in. They got it flipped, but you've got got to give Buzz and his staff great credit. I mean, for them to go through the roller coaster they did and put it together at the right time. I mean, it's a really terrific story for college basketball right now, and why conference tournaments mean something for those teams that maybe didn't have the regular season they wanted, and that's what makes this time of year a special year. And as we know, they play hard, aggressive, and they're going to do it again tomorrow, no doubt about it.
Let's go right in the front on the end.
To the point, Rick, about conference tournaments and their importance for you, how much does this mean? You got the big tournament coming up here, but obviously it has been a long time for Tennessee. You guys got to this stage a few years ago. How important is this just single game for this program and for you?
Well, I think any coach would tell you that this time of year you want to win basketball games. I mean, you do. I mean, people will say, well, you might be better off to leave, go home, and regroup. I don't know of any coaches that I've ever been around thought like that. This time of year, every game's a playoff game, every game's a championship game, and you've got to be ready, and you want to be playing your best basketball, because we also know that it can go the other way real quick, and so you want to keep building that momentum. But you realize you're going to be in a dog fight, a fist fight, a rock fight every single night, and it's what you prepare for.
All right, let's go to the front row on the left.
Rick, in 2019, when this scenario played out on Sunday, you said you could tell your team on Saturday didn't have much left. It was an emotional win. How do you avoid that this time around?
Well, you know, the last time we were in this situation, it was against, you know, Kentucky as well. It was one of those games when we had that quick turnaround to play again, but we had to really expend so much energy the night before. But, you know, these guys are young. I tell you, they are. And I like to think that our older guys, they talked about the chemistry, the maturity with our leadership. It'll be on them to get it. We'll talk about it, but it's going to be on them to truly focus and put the phones down, and they have done a good job of that. When it's time to come in and get our game prep ready, they've done a good job of that really pretty much all year long, and we'll have to continue.
We have time for two more. Let's go way back in the back right there. Yep. And then, Olivia, if you'll come around here, we'll get the second row on the aisle.
Rick, late in that game before it was over, when you guys had pretty much sealed the game, you had a pretty authoritative and excited slap of Mike Schwartz and then some quick hugs. Can you walk us through a little bit of your emotions at that moment?
Well, you know what? I thought our guys had prepared so hard, and I kept thinking, man, we got to get this done for them and the coaching staff. I got the best coaching staff in the country, and they worked so hard. And for us to play like we played, and then we got sloppy, but again, Kentucky had a lot to do with that. And you know, Mike, I've been with Mike, you know, he was my very first GA. I've known him my entire life, and it seems like, certainly from the time I met him as a walk-on, when he walked on our team at Texas, and then became our first GA, and how hard he works. But again, each one of my guys, and when they prepare, they all have their different way of doing it. They know how we want it done, and for them, and to look at him and see, because he. I called him last night at 11:30. Went back and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Coach, I just ordered a pot of coffee. If you need me, I'll be up for the next 3 hours." You know, and that's kind of what went through my mind. You know.
Okay, last question, right on the second row.
Seemed like Kentucky really put an emphasis on taking away the three-pointer. Just how important was what you got offensively from Brandon and some of the other guys in the front court?
Brandon's getting better each time out, and again, every play is a huge play. I thought the play of the game, to be honest with you, was Santi's rebound there at the end. I thought that was that was a big-time play by him. But Brandon, again, what he did, and our post guys trying to guard Sheedway is so difficult because they do just so much stuff to get him the ball, and he does a great job of doing his work early, and they know what they're looking for to get it to him, and you know, they bring speed at you. when we bog down is really when we stop playing fast, really. But both teams were getting up and down the court pretty quickly. But again, just a great team effort by everyone.
Thank you.